Hi, thank you for being here today. I am Maria Mandarino, licensed acupuncturist, certified spiritual director, certified Enneagram practitioner, and certified Bach flower practitioner. So welcome. And today we are going to go into our new series called Patterns of Truth, the Enneagram and Flower Essences. And this is going to be in part included in my upcoming course on the Enneagram. And that course is going to get into some other pattern-based systems, and the flower remedies are one of those. So before we begin, if you would subscribe to the channel, if you haven't already, remember to hit the little bell so that you can be notified of upcoming episodes and new information, things on the course that'll be announced here. Please comment, share the episode, and your participation really does matter for me to reach more people. So we're already seeing that happen. So I want to thank you for those of you who have already done that for me. And if you haven't, please do so. And before I get into the subject for today, I do want to mention that this is not to diagnose any conditions that you are maybe dealing with. Please talk to your healthcare provider about anything that's specific to you, or seek out someone to work with who is trained in the system of the Bach flowers or some flower remedy system, or the Enneagram, if those are things that you want to explore. So I do those things. I'll have that information at the end. So if you want to work with me, you can do that. But please reach out and work with someone if this is work that you want to explore. First of all, it can get sticky when we try to take these things on ourselves. So part of what we do with the Bach system, and I think a lot of these systems, is the gift of having somebody in front of you to hold up a mirror, and so you can really see what is going on, because we will tell ourselves fantastic stories about ourselves, and that's human nature. So working with somebody who's trained to see these nuances, for someone to pause and wait and reflect on a particular question, these things are absolutely vital to working with systems such as these. So I wanted to mention that. Okay, so today we are going to be looking at type 7, and the flower remedy that we're going to look at is Agrimony. So I also want to preface this with the fact that I'm not teaching the flower essences here. I'm not teaching the Enneagram here per se. I'm giving you little windows into what I believe are patterns, as I've named this, patterns of truth. Undeniable wisdom, I think, is another way to say it. It's not my wisdom. It's the wisdom of something well beyond any human level. And it's information and awareness that we get to work with, that we're privileged enough, I think, to work with. So, so I wanted to say that. So today we're working with, or looking at, type 7, which is known as the epicure in the Enneagram, or the adventurer. Okay, so, and we've mentioned this, you can go back and look at some of those videos, but type 7s love excitement. People perceive them as exciting. They love to have them around. They're the life of the party. They're the fun people, right? They love to have fun, and they are fun. They're fun to be around. Part of why they're drawn to excitement and fun is they prefer fun over anything that might be unpleasant or painful at an extreme end. Okay, they don't like limitations because, hey, limitations aren't fun, right? So they don't like it when people limit them or circumstances limit them. They love possibilities. They love opportunities. These are the people who, possibly more at a lower end of 7, they'll be the ones to say, I don't do negative vibes. I don't do negativity. Not to say that everyone who says that is a 7, but I think 7s are more apt to take that approach to something that's unpleasant or feels unpleasant or uncomfortable or negative. Okay, and at their lowest level of behavior, they're prone to addictive behaviors. One of the lower behaviors of 7 is gluttony. Okay, so they may overdo it with substances of various types. So that's a very very superficial, quick and dirty definition of type 7. They are in the head type, so they tend to experience their world from up here. And again, always looking for opportunities and fun things and possibilities. And then we have Agrimony, which is one of the flowers in the 38 in the Bach flower system, Dr. Bach's system. And Agrimony is used for people who hide their problems behind a cheerful face. Okay, they could be people that like to have fun, or that are having fun rather than face something unpleasant, or choosing fun over having to face something unpleasant, right? That's the hiding your problems behind a cheerful face. 7 is not, I'm going to tell you right now, when you take the class, you'll learn that 7's not the only type that does this, but they're one of them. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm trying to pull out here for you. So 7-ish behavior there for Agrimony. Their positive Agrimony people are positive vibes people, and behind those positive vibes that they work so hard to put forward, or the mask of positive vibes that they're presenting to you, underneath that is some level of anxiety. Okay, and again, now I'm in the box system. Agrimony types are said to wear rose-colored glasses. They're carefree, at least on the outside. They appear to be carefree, like 7s, right? They're well-humored people. They're funny people. They can be fun to be around because they're going to put up that fun facade, right? You're going to see that first. Unless you get to know them, then you'll learn there's something behind the mask. But if you don't if you're not one of the people that gets to stick around and get to know them, you're only going to know their facade. And they seem like really well-humored, fun, upbeat people to be around, right? Because they don't do negativity. They're sociable. Agrimony types are typically sociable. They make light of things. They will minimize problems. And here's the interesting thing. Here's like one of those truth is truth moments that I mentioned in our introduction to this series. Agrimony types can sometimes use substances to avoid pain. So they're prone to addiction. Okay. And so are type 7s at their lowest expression. Right. So we see these correlations, and again, they're not absolutes. I'm gonna hammer this throughout the series. I don't want you to think that A plus B is always going to be C. Energy medicine is never a medicine of absolutes. Okay, but it is a medicine of pattern. They are medicines of patterns, various medicines. So we see these correlations in this instance between the Enneagram, particularly type 7, and the Bach flower system, particularly in Agrimony. Okay, not to say that every type 7 needs Agrimony, but every type 7 who's really struggling with hiding behind the mask, we probably want to pull out Agrimony. Okay, and that's where we start to hold up the mirror in session when we talk. Whether we're doing a box session or some other level that I work with people at, but in this context, I'm going to look at it from working with the box system. If I know somebody's type, or if they're giving me enough signals to think that they may lead with 7, or some 7 behavior is rising to the surface, possibly through their stress point, which may be a 7, we're going to look at that. And we're going to hold up the mirror and talk about that and get the person to pause and stop and wait and figure out what's under that. Where did that come from? When did that behavior begin? And my job is really to slow them down and ask questions and listen. That's another major part of my job. So when I work with people, we are exploring these correlations. We're taking a deeper dive. We're asking the deeper questions, and looking at what we can do to explore some of this. So what I want to leave you with today, what I will leave you with in the series for each one, are some journaling questions, because that is something you can do and explore. And whether you choose to work with me or you choose to work with another practitioner, or if you're in counseling and you just want to bring some concepts that you discover through these videos to your counselor, awesome. Go ahead and do that. So journal question number 1, okay? What are my honest feelings around pain? By which I mean painful physical experiences, or usually it's painful emotions. And that can be both, by the way. You can have 2 in the same thing. So number 1, what are my honest feelings around pain, painful experiences that are either physical, emotional, or both. What are my honest feelings? I'm going to make you pause on that word honest, because if you lead with 7 or you have some agrimony stuff going on and you're not a 7, doesn't matter. If you're coming from that energetic freeway of the 7 or of the agrimony type, honesty is a word to pause and reflect on. I'm going to say it a third time. What are my honest feelings around pain, painful situations, physical or emotional? Journal question number 2. How do I respond to limits placed upon me? Why? Okay, so journal question number 2. How do I respond to limits or limitations that are placed upon me? And why do I respond that way? And that's going to happen in one of 2 ways when you sit down to journal this. If you're coming from that 7 or agrimony space, you're not going to want to spend a lot of time on that question, which is why I added the why. Not just how do I respond to limits placed upon me? Because if your answer is avoid them, I want you to sit in the why. So this is the kind of work I do with people when I, just so you know, like what a session with me might feel like. That's where we're going to go. And I'm going to hold you to these kinds of questions and bring you back to them if I see you trying to escape them, right? Because this is human nature. We try to escape what's uncomfortable, right? So again, question number 2 for journaling. How do I respond to limitations placed upon me and why? Journal question number 3. What's the worst thing that can happen if I am forced to be still in discomfort or sit in discomfort? Okay. What's the worst thing that can happen if I'm forced to be still or sit in discomfort? Okay. So again, that's one of those questions that if this applies to you, it's going to make you uncomfortable. You're not going to want to spend a lot of time on it. And I'm going to tell you, you need to nail yourself down and spend some time on it. Okay. Because there's something rich under that. Okay. There's something rich under it. Journal question number 4 on the subject of agrimony and type 7. Who would the world see if I removed my cheerful mask? And then the second question that goes with that is, how does that feel to me? So the 4th journal question: who would the world see if I removed my cheerful mask? How does that feel to me? So if you sat through the first 3 questions, you know what I'm going to say about the 4th. Spend some time in it if you find yourself resisting it. Okay. Who would the world see if I removed my cheerful mask? And how does that feel to me? So again, before we wrap up here, I do want to mention that for some people, these can be big and deep topics. So, so please reach out to someone. Don't try to do this all yourself. If this is, really feeling like too much for you, reach out to someone, counselor, physician, if it's that significant to you. Reach out to someone. You can schedule with me, but someone who has skill and experience in working with the subjects that we're talking about. So, so again, that's it for today on this subject. Thank you for being here. If you would like to work with me, those links are going to be in the show notes. Again, I offer Enneagram typing. That's usually a one-time thing, and then sometimes people choose to take it deeper and we go into spiritual direction. That's more of an ongoing journey with me, the spiritual direction journey. Bach flowers can be either or. It can be for an isolated goal, or it can be, peeling back the layers of the onion, and we can go deeper and deeper. And people sometimes do this work for quite some time. So it's all driven by your needs and your desires. So again, remember to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And I will see you next time. And we will be taking on another Enneagram type and another flower remedy. So thank you again for being here. Have a great week.